And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we are talking about the phases of leadership for the Men of High Value. This one has been developed basically over the past year, but it's interesting because it started out as 4 phases of leadership. And then I found out that the most important one, in my opinion, was number 1. So let me just take you through the phases of leadership, and I'm gonna just, give you an overview first, and then I'm gonna go through each of them as we go through. So phases, there are 5 phases. Number 1 is allow yourself to be led. Phase number 2 is lead yourself. Phase number 3 is lead others, and by others I mean your team, okay? Because the more you help others get what they want, the more you get what you want, right? And then phase number 4 is lead women, not woman, lead women. And then stage number 5, or phase number 5, is lead kids. The 5 phases of leadership. Simply put, what is the goal? Why are we going through these phases? We want to get to happiness, right? Happiness, joy, bliss, etc. That's the purpose of life. That's why we're put here, to understand how that system works. If you do certain things, okay, and you do them consistently over a long period of time so that you become the person that actually attracts happiness and joy and bliss in your life, that's what you're gonna get, okay? There's a system to it. It saddens me to see people not understand the principles of happiness and joy. And this includes successful people, I might add, okay? Like wealthy people, like people that are making billions of dollars and they're still unhappy. What is wrong with them? Like literally, the only thing that's wrong with them actually is that they don't understand the principles that are necessary to succeed on a family basis, which is quite interesting. They understand everything else when it comes to business, and they've gone for years building up and accumulating wealth and understanding how business works, how money works, and how compound interest works, but they have no clue about relationships. One example of this is a guy named Tech Lead. Okay, that's his YouTube name. And he's uploaded a couple of videos, and it's a really sad story, but basically his wife left him about a year ago. He put it out on YouTube explaining the situation. She kidnapped basically their son, okay, kind of did actually, because she was gone. Like suddenly she disappeared and she went to the other side of the world, and that sucked. And he was basically, explaining about the situation, and it's a very sad thing. And he's even given updates on what's happening, and that he saw his kid 4 weeks ago after 11 months without having seen his kid at all. And it just saddens me to see that he has no idea when it comes to relationships. And if he did, if he understood female nature, and if he understood how the feminine brain works, including his own, he wouldn't have lost that at all. Okay, so this information that I'm giving to you guys is vital. Okay, if you were Jeff Bezos, you literally would have saved billions understanding these principles that I teach on this channel. Even he got a flippin' divorce, okay? And she took like, what, $30 billion or something? It's ridiculous. Anyway, okay, what's the point? Happiness, joy, and bliss, and it comes from family relationships. Does that mean you should jump into, oh, I want to have a family right now because I got money and now it's just about having a family? That depends. That depends very much on your understanding about female nature and your ability to retain women and your understanding of the feminine brain, okay? How femininity works, including your own, okay? So we're going to get to that. Women, kids, it's not phase 1, 2, or 3. It's phase 4 and 5. Phase 4 and 5. Okay? What do we do until then? Voluntary celibacy. Okay? We don't sleep around. Don't do that to yourself. You're going in the opposite direction of happiness, joy, and bliss long term. Okay? You might be having fun short term, but I promise you, you're going in the opposite direction of joy, bliss, and happiness. Because joy, bliss, and happiness is in the family unit. If you understand it properly, and I'll teach you in this video. I'm gonna get there. So, what am I saying? Stage 4 and 5 at the end. Let's start with number 1. Phase number 1, which is allow yourself to be led. This is the one thing that I forgot as I basically explained about the 4 phases of leadership for an extremely long time. And then I was like, there's something wrong here. There's something missing here. Because no one really knows how to lead themselves. There's guys that end up being feminine for their entire lives. And what is feminine and masculine? What the definitions that we use on this channel is femininity is being unburdened. Okay, usually I talk about women when I talk about unburdened, burdened. But being unburdened as a woman, that's a fantastic thing. That's awesome. Because then she will literally, because she cares automatically, she will run towards responsibility and be fired up about life and basically get everyone else around her fired up about life because of her nurturing spirit, because she's feminine. Okay, men like feminine women, masculine men especially. How does that work with you? Well, you got to understand that leading yourself, that's a masculine trait. Leading yourself is self-discipline. Leading yourself, which is phase number 2, is harder than you think if you don't understand how to do that, or you don't understand what to prioritize. It's all about prioritization. Really, this whole video is about prioritization. You want to learn to prioritize. That's really how we differentiate between masculine and feminine, is that femininity does not and is not able to properly prioritize. And if they prioritize, it is according to their emotions, not according to what's best long term. Okay? You as a masculine man have the ability to get over yourself so that you can prioritize the action steps that you need to take and eliminate and neglect the things that are not worth anything long term and prioritize the things that are. And if you do that, then your long-term picture is going to become better and better and better and better over time. Right? Prioritization. And number 1 is allow yourself to be led, because you don't know what to prioritize. You don't know the principles of success and happiness. You don't, like, you think you do, maybe, okay, but how's your life going? Are you fired up outside your brain every single day? Are you able to be on semen retention for 90 days? Easily? Are you able to stay away from girls that are undressing themselves right in front of you? No, okay? If you struggle with any addiction or anything that basically it's so difficult because of my emotions are taking over my life, then you need to go back to phase number 1, okay? Because that's your foundation. That's gonna set you up for life. And what does it mean to allow yourself to be led? Really, it entails feminine traits in many ways, right? The 4 last phases of leadership is masculine. It's masculinity, because you are the leader. You lead yourself, you lead others, you lead women, you lead kids. That's you being the leader. So really, there needs to be a phase where you're not the leader of your life in many ways. You're actually allowing yourself to follow those that have exactly what it is that you want. Don't just follow anyone. Don't follow your parents unless they're flippin' stinking rich. They have a fantastic relationship with each other. They love their lives, and they're like, how come you don't want to spend time with us? How come you don't want to, be with us on the beaches? And how come you don't want to travel the world? And how come you don't want to build my multi-million-dollar business? If your parents are not like that, then you should probably stop listening to them and start listening to people that actually have what it is that you want, as long as they have your best interests at heart. Okay? Find people that want to create win-win situations with you and take you along for the journey. The more successful they are, the more you want to spend time with them. And what does success mean? Success in terms of happiness, joy, and bliss? Because that's what you really want. Very often people think that it's just about the money, although money is crucially important, and I'm a huge proponent of becoming successful when it comes to the monetary aspects of life. However, what's it worth if you're unhappy and you've got $10 million? Like, for example, Tech Lead. Like the last year, he's been depressed not having his wife, not having his kids, not understanding how relationships work and families, like how to keep her. Because you got to understand that it was all his fault. He's not going to understand this, but it was all his fault, okay? He's the only reason, because women are a complete reflection of you. So he's the only reason why she left and why she kidnapped the son, okay? Did you see it? Like, you might not understand what I'm saying here. If you don't understand, make sure you subscribe to the Women of High Value channel, where I explain all of this. I go through what women do and why they do the things that they do to help them understand it. Female nature is a male science. It's one of my taglines. Okay, understand the woman and you will understand the world, right? That's my second one. Anyway, point being is you got to step into your feminine. That's not going to be very hard for 99.9% of you guys, okay? Literally, I'm serious. You're comfortable in your masculinity? Well, let's go into femininity a little bit to allow yourself to be led. You're not going to be feminine for very long. You just got to be feminine long enough, okay, to allow yourself to be humble and meek, okay? What is it? The meek shall inherit the earth. Why do you think that is? It's because they want to learn, okay? There's two aspects that you need for success, really. There's just two things. A willingness to learn and a willingness to work. That's it, really. What does it mean, a willingness to learn? Well, it means that you never ever give up. Quitters never win, winners never quit. Because if you don't quit, you will learn. You will eventually figure it out every single time. Now, if there's something that you don't want to spend the rest of your life doing, then maybe you shouldn't learn that thing. But if there's something that you definitely want to understand, you should never ever quit. This is why men giving up on girls, or like even for example that, what's his name again? Graziosi or whatever, like the Dan Grazioso, what's his name? Anyway, the point is he's basically multi-millionaire, right? And he got a divorce, like 4 years ago or whatever it was. And then he's remarried now. And it's like basically living serial monogamy. He gave up. He literally was the one who divorced her, which is insane. Okay? It just literally shows me like how much ignorance there is around relationships and women. Anyway, I'm getting there. Allow yourself to be led. You need a coach. Okay? Have you checked what a coach is? Do you understand how a coach works? Do you understand the accountability that you get? Do you understand the consistency that you get when you have someone that you pay on a monthly basis in order for you to progress further and faster on your journey? How fast do you want to get to happiness, joy, and bliss? You want it to take 40 years, 30 years, or maybe never figuring it out because life is hard and then you die? Or do you want to just figure it out? Learn from the people who've got what it is that you want. Happiness, joy, and bliss. That's the most important trait. That's the most important thing to learn. And guess where you get it? Or guess what gives you most joy and happiness that you need to figure out the most? People skills. You need to understand people. You need to understand relationships, because that's really all we've got at the end of the ropes. Okay? You're not going to go into the woods and live by yourself in a cabin like a lot of guys did in the 1800s and 1900s. Okay? Most of us, we're around people. Okay? And the people that do move out to the woods, they're not going to be happy at the exponential rate that I'm talking about. I want that for you, but the only way to get that is understanding relationships. That's the expertise of this channel. Because it's all about masculinity and femininity and understanding how they work, how their brains function, and how they negotiate and talk to each other and communicate. So, allowing yourself to be led, meaning being around, okay, a coach, great, fantastic. Quit school. Why are you spending money on school if you can use money on a coach? A coach that can help you to retire from ever having a full-time job ever again in your entire life after 18 months. That's really should be the goal that everyone has when they sign up with the coach. A coach that knows what he's doing. Why would you have to work for a boss for more than 18 months if you have a coach? Doesn't make any sense. Right? Okay? So that's the one aspect. And the aspect of never ever having a divorce because of the information that you learned from that coach, yeah, that's kind of beneficial too. That's going to save you a couple of millions or more. And then also, like, there's just so many other aspects to that of having a coach compared to having a college degree. Give me a break. Number 2 is having, in Allow Yourself to Be Led, is spending time with people that you want to become like, right? You are the average, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the majority of your time with, okay? That sucks for a lot of those guys that I tell, 80-hour work week, work 60 to 65 hours for someone else, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, bro, I'm in the vicinity and in the company of people who suck at work, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. You're flipping ruining my brain. No, this is the time where you need a coach, okay? And you need other people that are going in the same direction as you, or else you will drown, okay? That's just how it works. That you need to get the help to get out of there, but also you need to be in hell in order for you to understand that this is not where you want to be for the rest of your life, right? That's what the 80-hour work week, a big portion of that is for. Allow yourself to be led. Anything else there? Don't care about what other people think. That's part of phase number 2, which is, lead yourself. But part of it is you need to care about what some people think in phase 1 of Allow Yourself to Be Led. Because if you don't care about what anyone else thinks, I'm going to be a man, I'm going to be masculine, I'm going to go my own path and I choose it and no one's going to tell me what to do. Good luck with that. Why? Because you don't know which path to go. You don't know which direction to go. Well, I'll just try and fail. I'm going to take this hammer and I'm going to basically use it to spike a nail through my finger. Like, you're going to use tools. You're going to be like, what do I mean by that? Well, you need to learn how to use the hammer, right? There's certain aspects of life that you don't need to try and fail because there's been so many people that have tried and failed. And there's tons of case studies of what is required to quicken that process of trial and error. Okay? You don't need to go through the streetwise all on your own, and you don't need to read 52 freaking books like, Ty Lopez says or whatever it is. You just simply need someone who's further along on their journey than you. That's all you need. Someone who's willing to take payment for having a conversation with you on a weekly basis to take you to the next level. Okay? And if you can't afford that, most of you can, but if you can't afford that, then watch my flippin' videos every single day for the next 18 months and it'll just take you twice as long. Okay? Literally. You don't need to be coached by me necessarily, but it'll take you twice as long. So how much is that worth in terms of saving money? Because do you want to take a year and a half extra or 2 years or 3 years more than what's necessary? You don't. So anyway, phase number 2, lead yourself. What is that? This is basically you having understood yourself, gotten rid of your crap from your childhood, gotten over your issues with your parents, with your siblings, beginning to get some self-worth because you actually applied some, you've actually achieved some things. And you, for example, I had one client who was saying that, he's had, some issues with people in the past, anxiety and stuff like that. And it was so interesting for me to see when he told me that, there was one time where people are asking me like, whoa, are you working 70 hours a week? You have a second job and you got this on the side and you've got this, that, and the other going on. Bro, wow, that's amazing. And he's just his self-worth increasing, boom, 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 boom. So one step at a time, right? And then another time where he's like on his way home from having worked a 12-hour shift, whatever, and then he sees some teenagers over there partying and all that stuff, and he's like, man, I'm not there. They're doing their thing. I've just finished work. I'm exhausted, but I did something that other people are not willing to do. And because of that, boom, your self-worth is increasing. That's basically what it takes to go from phase number 1 to phase number 2, is that you are following someone's lead who is ahead of the curve in terms of you, and you're listening to their counsel, right? in order to succeed in that specific arena where you want to learn from them. And then you're taking it to the next level by actually, once you do those things that you are recommended, you get more self-worth because you faced your fears and your fears disappeared. You took it to the next level. And now since you took it to the next level, now your self-worth increases dramatically. And because your self-worth increases, your willpower increases. And not only your willpower, but literally your character is morphing. It's changing without you even noticing it. Like 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, if you've been with this channel for a while, you will have noticed that you are different than you were a year ago. And you're just like, now you have like all of this information, you've got all this theory, and you've tried to apply it and you fail, but you understand that failure is the mother of all skill, right? The faster you fail, the more you're going to be skilled. And you understand that principle, so you're not afraid to fail. You're willing to go through the darkness. You're willing to go through hell to get to heaven. This is you beginning to lead yourself. You beginning to understand what your path is, what your purpose is, where you're going to go and how fast you want to go there and how you're going to achieve it. And then you're just on your path. You're on your grind, voluntarily celibate. Okay? Why? I'm going to get to that in a second. But it's crucial that you lead yourself during this time. Actually, I'll mention it right now. The guys that are involved with girls during this time, okay, when they're leading themselves and going their own way, whatever, very often, maybe they have a girlfriend or they're chasing women. It's one or the other. 95% of guys in the age that you guys are in who are watching my channel, 95% of them are chasing girls or wanting girls or has a girl. Now, who is the leader in that relationship between you and whichever category you are? Are you the leader of these women, or are they your leaders? And you might be one of those chads who basically, I can sleep around with anyone that I want, and I've slept with 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 girls, whatever. Who's leading? Is it you or is it them? Okay? Because I can, trust me on this. You're following your immediate gratification. You're literally going the opposite direction of masculinity. You're going towards, I can't control myself, I can't control my emotions, I can't control my behavior. Trust me, I have a guy who wanted to sign up as a client with me some time back, and he was like making $200,000 a year, okay? And he's like, I really struggle with staying away from girls. Like, I got this girlfriend, and bro, like, that's the one thing I can't take from your philosophy, man. Give me everything else. I just want to have a girlfriend. And I'm like, he doesn't get it, okay? Who's leading? It's the girls. Well, guess what happens when a girl leads you? You become inconsistent because you're following her reproductive cycle, because you don't want her to dump you. And you don't, you want to keep her. And you want to keep her happy, and you want to make sure that you spend enough time with her so that she gets her fill, her feminine fill from a feminine friend, which is you. Right? Who are you following? She's the leader. So you're not leading yourself, you're allowing yourself to be led, but you're staying there. You're staying in phase 1. You'll never get to the point of leading yourself ever, because you'll be in control of your life for the rest of your life if you get married. If you get kids, it's even worse, okay? You guys gotta understand this. Monogamy is a trap. I'm married. I have 11 years. I've got 3 kids. I know exactly what I'm talking about. You're falling into that trap. I've had literally one guy that I coached about a year back. He just got married. I'm like, whoa, oh my gosh, good luck. I wonder how long it's gonna take before she is not interested in him anymore. And number 2, I have another client now who's even thinking about getting married next year. And he's like, the parents are planning it and stuff like that. And I'm like, don't do it, don't do it. Okay, because he obviously hasn't understood what I teach about female nature and how it all works. But hey, if you want to be led for the rest of your life and never be masculine again, okay? And if you are masculine, it's basically like you gotta be on your grind forever. You're gonna be like having to exponentially succeed in such a way that like people see you on the street and they're like, oh my gosh, it's that person and it's that person. Because then your wife on your side might be like, I guess I am with this, pretty cool dude. But at home, man, I hate this guy. Like within the walls of my own home, I basically am pissed with him and blah, 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 blah. Okay? It's okay, it's women, but it's not their fault. It's your fault for not understanding that monogamy does this to women. That's your fault. Your fault for creating hell for women in monogamy. There is no such thing as heaven in monogamy consistently that goes exponentially over a long period of time forever. And if there is, it's because they've both lost desire for each other and they're literally just friends with two pink, jogging suits. Is that what you want to be? I'm just helping you guys to understand what phase 2 is all about. It is living voluntary celibacy because you are leading yourself. You have full control over your life and you follow only those that can help you to get to a further next level. And then the next level. And then the next level. You understand? You'll be in part of phase 1 for the rest of your life. You'll be in phase 2 for the rest of your life. Okay? Just master them though. Master them. And then number 3 is leading others. You've learned to lead yourself, meaning you're now an example. This is the biggest aspect to leading others. If you don't, like in a business, for example, once you have a business, you'll learn, well, you might not learn, but if you had me as a coach, you would know that when you start a business and you have employees, your employees will always, or actually will never, ever, ever do more than 50% of your effort. Your best employees, okay? Your average employees will probably do 20% of your effort in your business, or 10%. Some of them will be dishonest and steal money from you, okay? So you gotta understand how this works in terms of employees. Leading others means creating win-win situations where everyone around you loves you. That is physically possible, by the way. It's the science, and you've got to learn it. Because the faster you learn this, the less problems you're going to have with people in the future, and they're literally going to want to help you to succeed. Like they'll literally elevate you on purpose, voluntarily. How cool is that? That's the benefits of leadership once you've understood the first 2 phases. You can lead others now, you understand people skills, you understand how to lead, and you can basically bring everyone with you who wants to come with you. And if you are awesome, and you're so cool to be with, then people are literally gonna sacrifice better paying jobs to work with you because they believe in you. If you have built up your foundation first. Let's say you're trying, like I have some money and now I just want to build a business and have employees and then basically relax on the beach all day long. How long is that gonna last for, okay? If you haven't gone through phase number 1 and 2. It's not going to last very long. There's tons of guys who become millionaires and then lose it all because they suck with people. That's the only reason why they lost their money, to be honest. They suck with people. Amazing, okay? And then, guess what? They blame. And they're victims of this, that, and the other. No. You are responsible, and it starts with allowing yourself to be led. You're responsible for that, by the way, and then leading yourself, you're responsible for that, and leading others, guess what? You're responsible for every single thing that everyone in your vicinity does to you. Okay? People say, oh, it's not your fault what people do to you, but it's your, responsibility of how you react, whatever. Yeah, but over time, if you still have issues with people, it's all your fault. Like literally, like you've got to learn to take full responsibility for every single thing that happens in your vicinity. Quick story here. I went and okay, my hair's not really nice, but I went to a hairdresser, okay, like a couple of months back. And I remember sitting in the chair, and this was to do with my beard, okay? This guy had no idea what to do with the beard, okay? Whose fault is that? Is it his fault or my fault? Okay, we're gonna get there. So he basically nicked a part of my beard, And I was like, there was like huge unevenness, okay? I'm telling you guys right now. But basically, I was like, okay, can he just fix it? Like, I just want him to fix it. And then maybe there was a language barrier or whatever. My wife was kind of chiming in and trying to get him to, like, maybe he could fix it a little bit. So he tried to fix it, and then he made a second mistake. And then I was like, he might as well shave it all off. And my wife was like, no, I can fix this at home. And I'm like, he's a hairdresser, for crying out loud. He should know how to do this, because it was a barber shop, okay? And I was literally getting annoyed. And this is one of the first times that I've gotten annoyed in a long time. Like, a long time. And I just couldn't figure out why he couldn't fix it. So I basically give up at the end of the day, because they were basically arguing with me and fighting with me about, it's good, it looks good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, you know. So we leave out of there, and I stop on the street with my wife, and I'm like, what just happened? Why was I annoyed? Why did I have any negative emotions? This is not me. This doesn't make any sense, because I don't have that at all, ever, okay? Like, and if I'm just annoyed, it's because my kids won't go to bed or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, small things like that. But this time I was literally annoyed with the guy, or maybe the way that my wife rather listened to him than to me, or whatever it was, right? I'm trying to figure it out. And then I figured it out. I figured it out. Oh my gosh. I blamed. I literally blamed. I was a victim. He messed up my beard, man. Okay, so that's ridiculous. I was annoyed because someone else did something to me and I did not take personal responsibility. I was a victim. How does that help your happiness, joy, and bliss? How does that help you to live an amazing lifestyle for the rest of your life? It doesn't help. Whose responsibility was it that I sat down in that barbershop in that chair, not knowing who's gonna cut my beard and my hair? Whose responsibility is that? Is that his responsibility? He just wants a check at the end of the month. No, but he's a professional. He should know. I should know, okay? As someone who's basically helping people to take responsibility in their lives, I should know. I should know that I was making a mistake there by not investigating first how to do it, or who's gonna touch my hair, whatever. So, and that's the one thing that I'm responsible. But number two, what could I have done differently? Well, literally, he messed it up. But that's okay. Like, can you fix it? No, he couldn't fix it. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much. I do really appreciate you or all that you've done for me. And here's some tip or whatever. I didn't tip him, but do you understand what I mean? And what's an option? Go to a different barber shop. And now you don't have to go ever back again, okay? You can go to a different barbershop and say, hey bro, I went to another barbershop and this happened. Could you do something about it, They would be able to fix it. I wouldn't have to be annoyed. I could feel fantastic, take responsibility, and life would be amazing. But I got annoyed, okay? I got home, my wife fixed it, my wife's amazing. But anyway, do you understand what I mean? This is what it means to allow yourself to be led, to lead yourself, but then to lead others. But being okay with their failures and how much they suck. Okay? You've got to come to their level, meet them where they're at, and be okay with their mistakes, because that's what the universe is doing with us. Okay? He's okay with our failures, and he doesn't mind that we fail, as long as we keep progressing and keep learning and keep moving in the right direction. Okay, I got to finish up. Phase 4 is leading women. I explained this in the middle of the video, which is basically, monogamy will make you a follower for the rest of your life. It literally will. You can't do anything about it. That's the way it's designed. Why? Check out my Women of High Value channel again. But in 5 seconds, okay, if I could explain it that fast, it's basically that you enter into a relationship with a woman who has way more intense emotions than you do. And you have two desires in a relationship. You want peace, okay? and harmony in the home, right? Wonderful. And then 2, you want passion, you want intimacy, you want, you know, sparks, whatever, and you want to give her intense pleasure, right? That's what you want when you enter into a monogamous marriage or a monogamous relationship, whatever, and you have sex with each other. Well, what happens with her, okay? She has intense emotions. Her needs are not being met. Trust me, her emotions will not be fulfilled in monogamy. I'm not talking about sleeping around. I'm not talking about poly. I'm not talking about any of that stuff that people are doing in open relationships or whatever it is. No, but it's not monogamy either, and I'm going to explain. That is a recipe for disaster. Monogamy is a recipe for disaster because she will always have control over you. Oh no, I will choose not to listen to what she's saying when she's highly emotional, and I'm gonna basically reject her instead. And I'm gonna put her in her place and say that you listen to me, and we're not spending money on that, and we're doing this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. You're putting up walls between you and the other person. That's a disconnect. You're disconnecting yourself from the other person if you don't understand what's going on. The best way is to submit and to basically accept that she has intense emotions about something, but the problem is if you always do this, she's going to create a grave for this family. She's going to basically probably, you know, become overweight over time. She's probably going to spend too much of your money. She's probably this, that, and the other, and you can't control her. Because the moment you try to control her, she's going to put up a wall because she's not designed to be controlled. Women were designed to be emotionally free, and you can't lead her in monogamy. I wish I could explain this properly to you guys, but I really do a pretty good job on the Women of High Value channel. Make sure you subscribe to both. Now, what should you do instead? This is why you live voluntary celibately, okay? The first 3 phases. For an extended period of time with no sexual intensity at all, okay? You're not, there's no PMO, right? No masturbation, you're practicing semen retention for a long period of time. Then you come to the point where you've developed a massively strong financial foundation. You've come to the point where you've developed character. You've come to a point where you've developed your confidence, and you come to a point where you have allowed yourself to be led for so long by people who understand female nature, who understand what it takes in order to retain women 100% of the time. And if you can do that, maybe, it might be the time for you to get a stamp of approval from the Men of High Value community to get started with what we call 3 in Love. 3 in Love is 3 women, 1 man, okay? 3 women living harmoniously together in the same home, okay? Wanting you and sharing you because you take the blame 100% of the time, you're trustworthy like nobody's business, and you are fired up outside your brain of providing very well for this family and leading them in the right direction of their dreams. Because you've already pretty much achieved all of your dreams except for this harmonious relationship right here and kids, which comes as 5, right? 3 in Love is absolutely amazing system. If you want to learn more, it's my second channel, Women of High Value. And then, phase number 5. Do you start immediately once you have a woman? Hell no. No. Okay? Why? Because the moment you have kids with the woman, you put her in many ways in like, she now has to stick to you, okay? And you've created a huge problem if you're not able to retain this woman long term, if you have kids with the woman. And there's going to be alimony, there's going to be court systems, there's going to be your woman or women basically having to connect and having to have a relationship with someone that's not in your life anymore, and that is a headache like you can't believe. Just talk to any guy who's divorced and has kids, and then his new partner maybe has kids, and then that new partner has to collaborate with that partner, and this is just a mess. A mess. I promise. You want to make sure that when you enter into a relationship with women, preferably, it's the first time that you've ever been with women. Preferably, it's the first time they've been with a man, but in the transition phase towards the 3 in Love society that we're creating with this movement, that's not going to be the case, right? So there's a lot of things that you need to learn about how this all works, especially during the transition phase, moving towards that kind of society. But don't have don't even have the thought of getting kids before you've seen that you actually are able to retain women, and they know for a fact, at least for 3, 4, 5 years, that this is exactly what they want, and they can't wait to have kids with you, and all 3 are still there. You haven't lost one woman. Everything's amazing. After 5 years, in my opinion, okay, maybe you should get ready and have a kid. Why should it take so long for you to get to phase 5? Because there's a lot of guys out there that put that as phase 2. It's like, get women. That's the first thing they think about you. They're 12, 13 years old and they're like, I want women and I want women right now. How feminine is that? It's basically just ridiculous. And they go towards women, and then when they're 18 or 20 or 22, suddenly they have a baby. Bro, what the heck? What were you thinking? You've literally put your success, your long-term success, 20 years into the future. Why? Why? You like put in a massive distraction and diversification in your life that if you have that already, you can solve it, okay? If you have a coach, you will be able to get out of it. But, right? Okay, there's a lot of crap going on when you got kids, and it basically diversifies you from focus. Part of focus in getting exactly everything in life that you desire gets jinxed when you can't get rid of distractions. And once you've got women and kids, you can't get rid of them. Why? Because it's all your fault, and you put yourself in this situation, so you better commit and stick. Okay? It's important. It's crucial. But let me tell you this. Once you do follow these phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and you keep plowing against these, okay? Voluntary celibacy. Then, once you're ready, you get your stamp of approval from the community at large. Then you start 3 in love. Then you're with them enjoying life, every single minute of your life, while you're still building your businesses and going towards your multi-millions. Once everything is set up and ready and everyone agrees who should have the first child, blah, 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 then you have a baby. Who cares if you're 35 or 40 years old when that first happens? There's a reason why men can have babies when they're 50, 60 years old, okay? If that takes that long, then you set it up the right way with the correct foundation, the family. This is your key to joy, happiness, and bliss. This is your key to joy, happiness, and bliss. Why? Because you want power, which they naturally will give to you. They'll worship you. They'll worship you because you've set up the foundation of your life and you're freaking amazing. Not only that, but they, 3, continuously edify you on a continual daily basis. They take care of each other to make sure that your needs are met, because you've met their needs continuously and they're meeting their needs, their feminine needs, with each other all the time. I could talk about this for hours. I'm going to end this video right now, but I just wanted to let you guys know that becoming a father is one of the most precious things that has happened in my life. Okay, so I understand those of you guys who can't wait. I just want to have a baby, man. I want to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, don't jinx your life up. Don't jinx the lives of the women that you're with, or the woman, or whatever. Just don't have a baby yet. You don't understand squat, okay? You want to make sure that once you have a baby, it sticks, okay? It's there with you for life, because your women are there. The most important thing that you can do for your children is to love their mother. There is nothing more important than that, because that is the circle of life. You love, you love their mother, they're gonna love you, and they love their mother naturally very often, especially if she's unburdened. If she's burdened, they might not even like their mother, and then they won't like you because you've caused the stress in their lives, blah, 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 and you get dysfunctional families. If you're awesome, remember this, if you're awesome, your women together harmoniously are going to be awesome and give you a better life than you could ever imagine. And then your kids will be flippin' awesome. And I'm not talking 5 times better than the average kid. I'm talking 10, 15, 20 times better than the average kid, because they've got you. And you're 10, 15, 20 times, 100 times better than the average guy. You're awesome, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.